Yes! Yes, let's go! Yes! Yes! Oh, let's go! Oh, I have a new hardest. I have a new hardest, and the recording worked. Let's go! Yes! Oh, okay, let's count up attempts. 4808 on main. Oh my god. 4808 plus, this is going to be a ton. 5429. Ooh! Ooh! 5429. That's sub 1K. That's sub 10K. No, it's not. It's just barely over 10K. But that's alright. What is it? I'm going to do this one in my head because it's not that hard. That's 10 to 37. Oh, yes! Let's go! Oh, I have a new hardest. Yes, finally. Oh, wow. Wow. Wow, I kind of can't believe I just did that. That's insane. Alright, wow. So I have a few things to say about this level, and I want to give a little context for the completion as well. Because this, along with many of my other list completions, was an on and off project where I picked it up, learned it a little bit, was kind of getting a feel for it, and every now and then I'd play the ending just to kind of get used to it. But I wasn't really, like, going for it, right? It was like, I'm going to slowly kind of familiarize myself with it, get used to it gradually over time, this, that, whatever, right? And then for a good, like, month, 2 month long stretch, I just kind of didn't touch the level much. Like, I'd go in and play the ending every now and then. And when I say every now and then, I mean maybe like once or twice a month, just to kind of play around with it for a few months there. And then a few days ago, I came back to this, started doing runs, and I was like, you know what? I have the end down really well. Let's just start learning the beginning and play from 0. So I did, and I got 30 and then had the level in 2 runs, which was lovely. And I really did just take like 3 days of playing and just kind of grind this out. I didn't play yesterday because I was busy doing homework and other things. But like I was, you know what I mean? Like I was just playing the level. Loochiverse was like pretty much my focus in GD. It was like I'm doing Loochiverse right now. And yeah, there you go. It worked out. Today was insane. Today my best was 53 before I started playing. And then I got 56 once. I don't think I died there again. Did I die to that wave twice from 0? Or once from 0? It was once or twice, which is not that bad, actually. I got 63 twice, 73, and then beat it. As far as new bests go, I had a lot of deaths in the drop other places, like the beginning of the ship, and I had a few in the like the early 50s that were kind of annoying. But yeah, that's... Wow. Wow, that's an insane completion. So this level, first of all, I highly recommend this. Highly recommend this level if you're looking for something in this difficulty range. I loved this a lot. There are a few parts I thought were kind of awkward. Obviously, the beginning carries difficulty a lot. So if you don't like first death heavy levels, this might not be for you. I really think that the gameplay in this is really solid, though, so even if you don't like first half heavy levels, and you want to get used to first half heavy levels in this kind of difficulty range, this is a good one to go for, because the gameplay itself is fun, and the difficulty doesn't come from it being, like, finicky and awkward, except for, like I say, except for, like, a few specific clicks. So, the first ship is brutally difficult, but surprisingly enough, it got consistent. I mean, not, like, consistent. Like, I'm still pretty much flipping a coin, but for something at the start of a... For an obvious difficulty, like, spike at the start of a first half heavy list level, it got really consistent. Like, 50%'s not bad. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take that. The beginning of Koopa's part with the two blue orbs, I really didn't like those 2 clicks. Everything else in Koopa's part was mostly fine. Koopa's part was probably the part that was the most inconsistent for me. As a whole part. It was probably the weakest in terms of gameplay, in my opinion, as well. I thought the things it did were really creative, though. I really liked a lot of the like dual shenanigans going on. I thought that was really creative. I think it needed a little more polish, a little more play testing to really kind of, you know, shine and play, I think, as well as it was supposed to. The next part was really solid. There were a few clicks that were tough in it, but like they were fine. The only like problem, I guess, in that part is the pink dash orb. Kind of towards the start, where you dash down into the teleport portals. If you hit that dash orb a little too late, you can hit the jump pad that you're supposed to be hitting when you come out of that orange part of the teleport portal before you hit the dash orb. Then you dash down, go up into the orange portal, and just don't jump. That was kind of annoying, and it felt like that could have been maybe play tested better. I don't know if that was an intentional timing or just kind of a thing they left in the level. I don't know. I have no idea. But It felt awkward. The rest of that part was fine. The swing cube, the cube copter, that part was tricky, but I got it down. I don't know why. I was popping off on that part. Like, I really wasn't dying there at all. Towards the end of my play session today, like, I was fine with that part, which kind of blew my mind, because in practice mode, like, if I had a start position there, I was maybe 1 in 3 on a good day, right? So I was impressed with that. That's one of the parts I think could be nerfed, or maybe better indicated, because maybe there is a really good path that the original creator has through there, but I found that there was no clear-cut path, and every path you did was really awkward. Like, anytime I got through there, it felt awkward. It felt like it was like a weird way to do the part. So maybe there is a clear way to do it, and maybe that needs to be indicated, or maybe I needed to watch the right video or something. I don't know, but that part was really awkward. I didn't love it, but like I said, I kind of got it down. The ship part at the drop, this is the part that probably I spent the most time really hammering into the ground learning, because at first this part feels impossible, and then once you get it down, it's mostly fine. I say mostly because there are a few things I don't like about it. So first of all, the green, the dash orb at the start, you can sometimes not hit the pink pad, just barely miss the pink pad. Like, yeah, you can click too late, but even if you click on time, you can sometimes S-block before the pink pad, and then you don't get the jump off. At least I thought that's what was happening. That's the only reasonable explanation I could have come up with for what was happening to me. It was very rare. It happened to me once from zero, and it like rarely ever happened in practice, but I think it's worth mentioning because that is possible to do. The flight down is then also very difficult. That's just tricky. Some people do that in 1 click. I did it in 2. Then you have green dash orb, which is fine, and then red orb, which was surprisingly tight. Died there a lot, both early and late, mostly early. Then you have the next click, which is probably one of the weirder clicks in the level. It's one of those clicks where I think it like needed maybe a better playtester, because a lot of people do that click in 1, like that next part after the red orb, after you've like stuck to the ceiling. They do 1 click hold out into the green orb. That's a 5-frame window on 288. Right, like that's insane. That cannot be. That's stupid. So I did 2 clicks, and it was way more consistent. I mean, miles and miles more consistent for me to do 2 clicks, because then, yeah, I'm not doing a 5-frame window at the drop of a list demon. Like, that's stupid. Then the green orb was tricky, because if you hit the green orb too early, you swung down too far off the slope, which didn't work super well. But if you hit it too late, you barely got any swing down off the slope at all. So you kind of had to go for like a middle timing and hope. It was one of those things where it was a problem at the beginning when I was learning it. Once I learned it, it was totally fine. Like, it really wasn't even a thing I was worrying about or considering as like difficulty. I honestly don't think I died to that green orb once from 0, and if I did, it was because I just hit it completely too late and like hit the spikes instead. You know what I mean? Like, didn't even make it to the slope, so that wasn't a problem, right? So that was fine. Rest of the ship's mostly fine, no major complaints. The last click out is kind of tricky with the yellow portal, but I had a consistent setup for it. You just kind of hit the middle of the black orb, and then you do the tiniest little release and regrab right at the yellow portal, and it worked out for the most part fine. The next cube part here has some of the more finicky timings in the level, and like I say, I got it down and it got fairly consistent, but it was another fairly inconsistent part of the level for me, where you have to do a late timing on the first portal click that I think you're technically ball for, the ball click, ball red orb, and then you have to click early on the black orb. This was the one that I really didn't like. I really did not like this click. You have to click early on the black orb, but if you click too early, you're still a ball, then you go down, then you become a cube and you don't jump. If you click too late, you're a cube now, but you're clicking so late that you die to the spike. So you have to click like right as you become a cube, which was really kind of awkward. It's just kind of unconventional gameplay, unconventional difficulty. I didn't love it, but it was fine. It worked. It was okay. You know what I mean? It was annoying, but I could live with it. It wasn't like level ruining by any means. You gotta hit the next red orb early, and then the blue orb to yellow orb here is tricky too, because you have to wait until you're in the upside down portal to hit the blue orb, or else you just hit the blue orb and then go flying up instead. And when you hit that yellow portal is dependent on how early you hit the red orb before it. So that was kind of tricky. Again, it's one of those parts where you just need to like grind the muscle memory into your, I was going to say into your bones, but into your muscles, and just like have that carry you through it. And when you die, oh well, you know what I mean? It was just like, okay, whatever, we'll deal with it. The wave at 56 was surprisingly difficult in practice, and then once I got it down, it wasn't too bad. You just kind of brush up on it and you get a good feel for it. It was fine. Next UFO part's free. Here's the problem click, the click at 63, the green orb in the ship. this click needs nerfed. I don't know who in their right mind thought it was okay to leave this click in the level, but this click is so heavily dependent. Like it's a really tight ship timing, first of all, and secondly, it's highly dependent on how you do the click and release before it, to the point where you have to on the fly react to how high or low your ship is going into that green orb to get the incredibly tight timing to work. And like, yes, it's a list human, they're not going to spoon feed you, but that could have maybe been open, that gap could have been open just a tiny little bit to be a little more forgiving and I think a little more fun. Personally, I found that a problem. Spider part's fine, you just click before the black orb to toggle the toggle trigger, which is like a weird little skip, but I've seen other list victors do it, so it was fine. I did like a pseudo double click on the two blue orbs before the green orb, so I could kind of, you know what I mean, like I did like a... Oh, I played the level. I'm an idiot. But that gave me like immediate downward momentum, so that I could time the green orb and get the green orb right. Rest of that's pretty fine. The rest of this part's like pretty straightforward, pretty self-explanatory. Wave at 73 is tricky, but not too bad. Rest of it's really not terrible. The jump after the little tiny cubed copter thing. That jump out is tricky. That jump was very reminiscent of like 95 on Belloc, for example, which I have experience with not dying to, as I did in Loochiverse. Let's go! But that click was tight. That's a tight... it's just a straightforward like jump through the spikes gap thing, but it was tight. And then the end ship is very chokeable, and I'm so glad I didn't. I almost did. I got close. I know there was at least one moment in that last ship where I'm like, I don't have control! Oh, fuck! And then I composed myself and did it anyway, but... Whew. Yeah, so I kind of just ran. I just kind of ran through the level for you, gave you my thoughts. This is really solid. This is a really solid level. For something this difficult, I had a blast playing this. I really did. Any frustration I had with the level was like I say, over a few little clicks or parts or minute little details that I didn't like, or I was frustrated because I was sucking up a storm, just terribly playing. But today was a great session. Today was awesome. I was doing great today. Yeah, not bad. It was not bad at all. But yeah, now I have a new hardest. I do finally think that this is harder than SPL. Can you believe it, guys? Can you believe it? I found a level and beat a level that I think is actually harder than SPL. This is crazy. Yeah, just kind of a recap on that. This, I think... I don't know, like, where this should be placed on the list. I mean, obviously it's my hardest, so above everything else I've beaten. That's about all I can tell you, right? I think Goner and Of Ambrosia are both massively overrated. I think SPL is slightly underrated. I think the rest of the list is pretty much fine where it is. Or the rest of the stuff I've beaten is pretty much fine where it is. And that's most of the stuff I've beaten on the list. Is Chromatic off the list? I want to say Chromatic's not on the list anymore. I don't know. I haven't looked in so long. I have no idea. But this is a really, really good feeling to have a new hardest. Finally, it's no longer SPL. I wouldn't call this a fluke, because everything after where I died is pretty much fine. Like, I mean... It's not a fluke, but it's not really a fluke either, so... Whatever. Oh, okay, I'm done talking. I'm gonna go upload my video and submit to the demon list for the first time in months and months. That's insane. Alright, cool. I'll see you later. Bye. See you later. Cut the recording. What do I say? Yeah. I'm gonna cut the recording here now. Bye.